right, good morning once again and welcome back to TV47 Breakfast. My name is Fred Ndimuli, and after talking and discussing politics, let's now talk matters aviation. So Kenya's aviation industry faces a myriad of challenges, and you've seen headlines talking about losses, probably at the main carrier, and other things that are happening. And today we just want to understand what exactly is the main problem with the aviation industry. Turbulence ahead, what's grounding Kenya's aviation industry? For this conversation, we are privileged to have in studio George Udwor. He's the head of scheduled services at Fly 748.
Yes.
Karibu sana and good morning.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Ndumuli.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure to join you this morning. And yes, I'm George Udwor, head of scheduled services, Fly 748.
Yes. And probably for the sake of our viewers to understand, what is a person in charge of scheduled services? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, my role is to really bring operational discipline, just to ensure that the passengers who book with us get the best experience. They depart on time. While on board, we also ensure that they get the best experience. And so it's important really to stick to the schedule.
Okay.
When you have the operational discipline, we have the booking engine, clients, passengers will book with us. It's my duty to ensure that the ticketing is smoothless. When they come in at the check-in, they are checked in on time, and then departure. So this is my role, just to ensure that our passengers leave point A to point B as per schedule.
All right.
At the end of the day, it's also my duty to grow the business. We are starting with the 2 routes, but it's upon me just to guide the team with the support from senior management.
And we'll talk more about
to other routes. Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the opportunities that you're talking about. But
Yes.
generally, over time and over the years, we've seen an increased or improved uptake of flight services, aviation in Kenya. People are now flying more
Yes.
to the coast, to Kisumu, to other destinations as well, and probably because of the creation and building of smaller airstrips and airports. But we still discuss a lot to do with the challenges in the aviation industry. Do you see those challenges? What is the biggest challenge right now?
Thanks so much. So for the last 10 years, let me just give you a bit of a background. Aviation and the demand for air travel has increased in the last 10 years. We can attribute this to the mini governments, the county governments. There's a lot of travel across the counties. So this one has really prompted the Kenya Airports Authority, Kenya Civil Aviation, just to map the areas with this demand. So we have the western region, we have the coastal, and then we also have the northern frontier. So the demand has risen because we have the business travelers, we have the suppliers, we have the government workers, all these guys, even the holiday travelers, the leisure travel, the demand has increased, and this now has brought in the aviation operators together with the government, just for them to map out, because it is projected that aviation industry will continue to grow, because it's no longer a luxury, it's an economic enabler. Businesses, humanitarian services, that promptness in service delivery has increased. So when you compare this with the other transport modes, aviation can no longer be termed as a luxury. It's a necessity, because people move every day. We have thousands and thousands of people moving from airport A to airport B.
Has this come with its unique challenges, the increased air travel in Kenya?
They are, definitely. They are, and I can map it into these areas. One, the cost of maintaining aircraft, the aircraft components, is very expensive. You see, for aviation, all these expenses are dollar-driven. So you have an aircraft, and these ones are not made locally. You have to import it. So the cost of all this, and there's also taxes accompanied. All this, just before the budget, there was this mobilization from Kenya Association of Air Operators. They wanted this taxation on the aircraft components, to be zero rated, because the moment you tax this maintenance equipment, then this cost will definitely will be passed on to the traveler. That's the first one. The second challenge is cost of fuel. The cost of fuel is very high. Before the Gulf War, it was still very high, very prohibitive. but now it is on the higher levels, and we don't see any stability.
Incidentally,
we don't see it coming. We don't see it coming down soon.
Yes.
So these are aviation. In aviation, the cost of fuel and the aircraft components.
Those are the biggest challenges.
These are very expensive.
Incidentally, EPRA has released its latest review of fuel prices yesterday, and it's published on the dailies today. But going back to what you said first, that the taxation is a bit punitive to the aviation industry. Are we saying that there's still the prices, the airfare is still a bit restrictive to most Kenyans, that they're not able to enjoy these services because they cannot afford it?
What I know, airlines will always try to really increase the number of travelers by trying to manage cost. But now, at the advent of the Gulf War, there's a fuel surcharge because it went overboard. I remember before the war, the Platt, usually the cost of fuel is controlled by the international pricing. By around March, the cost was around $89, but after the war, it doubled.
Okay.
So what does it mean to the airlines? It means that, yes, they'll try just to absorb some cost, but before you break your back, you see the maintenance cost has to continue, the leasing components and all that. So you really have to pass it. But I'm happy that most of the airlines, it was a modest increment just to ensure that you still give opportunity to many travelers to afford. So yes, as for airlines and even Fly 748, we are targeting those who are flying, but then we are also trying to really manage the cost so that those who have not flown, the cost should be, they should be able to be accommodated at the lower band, because there are those minimum fares that are really good rates, but if you book early, then you will be able to get a better rate. Okay. So for those who are traveling to Mombasa, yes, there's SGR, there are buses and all that, but then when you still compare that cost, it is friendly to most of the travelers.
It's easy to
and
find.
We see it, and we see that the lower band will still, increase, just for us to continue being in business and providing this service to most of the travelers that need it, because the demand for air travel is there.
Okay.
Yes.
The demand may be there, but there's also a fluctuation from time to time, that sometimes you do not have enough passengers. Are we saying that your planes are always full when flying either to Mombasa or to Ukunda, that Fly 748 always have a full manifest?
So what happens, there are activities like the coastal corridor. Coastal corridor, we have the North Coast, we have Malindi, we have Mombasa and Ukunda. So these are busy routes because, yes, for the South Coast and North Coast, we target leisure travelers. But Mombasa, these are really business travelers. Yes, guys going for conferences. We have doctors coming from Nairobi to Mombasa, specialists flying in, going to Mombasa in the morning, and then they come back. So most of the travelers have very tight schedules. And I've seen even those who miss flights in the morning, no shows.
So the flights are always
they still have to get alternatives because they tell us, no, I have to be. There's a conference, I can't miss this. So the demand is there, and so far, since the relaunch, as Fly 748, we are really thankful, and we appreciate the good reception we have received from the travelers. But we continue to appeal to the public, because what we are doing as Fly 748, we are riding on our 31 years of experience with a fleet of 17 aircrafts operating in over 11 countries. That is no mean achievement. Okay. And our duty is to position Fly 748 as an airline of choice. Okay. So the response has been good.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the biggest challenges, and we read about this in the newspapers, is probably about infrastructure in the Kenyan context.
Yes.
That you operate, for example, from JKIA.
Yes.
And there's this talk about we need a bigger airport, we need longer runways, we need a new airport and stuff like that.
Yes.
How big is the infrastructure challenge in the aviation industry, and do you see this slowing down your business in any way?
In just less than a minute, I'll tell you that there's a Qatar conference that we attended, and the chief guest was Dr. Julius Kipngetich, and he challenged the industry leaders and the airline operators. You see, last year, Kenya Tourism Board reported that we received around 2.4 million visitors coming to Kenya. But Dr. Kipngetich challenged everyone in the aviation that we still have the potential. So we should target by 2025 to have over 10 million passengers coming in. Now, as we speak, the infrastructure is constrained. Like today is Wednesday, tomorrow we have departures from Terminal 2. And as early as 4:30 check-ins are, check-in counters are open, but it's chaos. I say that because the lines stretch. I don't know whether you know Terminal 2, if you can put it into context, if you can visualize. From 4 a.m. we have lines, people lining up to the parking area. So I receive calls from passengers at around 4:30 that we are not able to be checked in. So if they are out of the cold, trying to get in. So this is something that even in Ukunda, I remember if all of us are departing at the same time, we have one gate, the boarding gate. So what does it mean? It means that we have to delay departures for one airline, and then the next will follow. This one is replicated across different airports. So what does it mean? It is timely for the government to expand Jomo Kenyatta Airport because the number of travelers that will be coming in is projected to be high. But then you should also be ready because if the intake is high, we should have infrastructure both for the passengers and even at the airport, because the landing lights, if you are restraining people to fly during the day only, you don't have the navigation equipment, the landing lights are not there. So it will mean that bigger airlines, bigger investors will not come to your country.
But that means better business for the smaller airlines, that these big airlines may not be able to do probably local flights economically.
No, even the smaller airlines, they start with they'll start with the smaller aircraft, the Caravan, then they upgrade to Dash 8, 138-seater, then they upgrade to 78-seater, like Fly 748. At the end of the year, we are planning to bring a bigger aircraft. So even these smaller airlines, they have a roadmap of growth. So what we are saying is that we are really happy and support the current programs, the expansion program at JKA, because as we speak, at Terminal 2, you are only allowed to park 6 aircrafts. What does it mean? It means that if you don't have the space is restricted. So many airlines are departing from JKA. They are being moved from due to the renovation and all that. The Q400s really are not configured to land at Wilson and all that.
And I'm thinking Q400 is a type of a plane.
Yes, it's a bigger aircraft that requires a longer runway. So if you have a shorter runway, then it means, I'll give you an example of Lodwar. We have received requests from passengers that this is a very good route, but the runway is very short. So
you're unable to fly.
So we cannot fly to that until this runway is increased. Like Ukunda, it was shorter, but the government has increased it. So Q400 can land there, but it is still not.
How many airports are able to accommodate such aeroplanes?
We have Kisumu. Kisumu is good. Mombasa, Kisumu, Mombasa, Eldoret, Isiolo is there. But then you see, we have to open these other frontiers.
Even Malindi,
yes, like
even Malindi does not.
Malindi is there, and aircrafts are flying there. Yes, so what we are saying, these airports needs to be distributed. I know the demand, the installation, and the investments are driven by demand. So if the payloads can be demonstrated, then the government, or in this case KCA, will automatically support. So what we are saying is that the current expansion programs and the infrastructure upgrade, this one we really upload it, because for me, I'm suffering. Like tomorrow, I know there'll be, like on Thursdays, there's a big influx. So many passengers are flying out of T2 tomorrow. So in the morning, I know there'll be a lot of pressure, but we are working with the, stakeholders.
An airport like Wilson Airport cannot accommodate the kind of planes you have?
No, it cannot. Wow. It can only accommodate the smaller aircraft. But with the projections, the kind of equipment that I currently see, we are projecting an upward trend, and more of these facilities. We talk of the infrastructure within the airport, and then the navigation equipment, and then for the passengers also, they need to get to be checked in quickly, because at yes, I'm there, and I'm an interested party at Terminal 2. When you are checking in the passengers, you have been to Dubai, the check-in process is seamless. But here you have to go through it is a fiscal process which really, so even it drains the fiscal energy, the
so even
emotions.
the restrictions are even more, not just on the air side,
yes,
but also in this structures that accommodate the passengers.
Yes.
That you need more of that.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Does it make sense to continue depending on JKIA going forward as a main airport in Kenya?
Yeah, you see, Nairobi is the economic hub. So yes, as much as you'll try to diversify, I know Kisumu was upgraded, and it will be able to accommodate those international flights. But still, I'm not seeing bigger airlines going there because of the logistical issues.
Because the discussion is
Nairobi,
between JKIA,
yes,
expanding JKIA, or
yes,
building another new, probably bigger airport.
That will just be an extension of Jomo Kenyatta, because yes, Nairobi is still, in terms of connectivity, I think even if you expand it to the eastern region, it's still okay. That one is still within the metropolis. But I remember, but it's high time now we have a longer discussion, like in Dubai. They have moved all their, they have gone to the southern part.
So there's
a big airport,
yes,
and we were there last year, and it's massive. So what does it mean? All the airlines, all the international airlines will be going there, and yeah, it's a good incentive to the investors, yeah, to the travelers, and everybody, yes, in the aviation industry.
And allow me to ask you this question, because
yes,
I know it's not where you work, but KQ is a national air carrier. Why do you think we keep on reporting failure and losses in the national carrier, and does it impact the general aviation industry in Kenya?
This will be my comment. You see, in the aviation industry, aircraft components can ground you for a long time. So during the COVID period, most of these factories that manufacture the aircraft components, they went under. Okay. Workers were released. So for you to get a replacement for these parts, it takes a lot of time. So you have an aircraft which was made several years back, you need a component to replace it. So if you don't get it in time, then that aircraft will be grounded. Because pilots, the pilot in command, will take decision. Even the engineer on the ground will not allow you. He will not clear that aircraft.
And this is a challenge that
these
cuts
are
across?
Challenges, yes.
Yeah, even for Fly 748.
Yeah, because at times, you may say that I have stability in the supply chain, I have connections with the engine maintenance. Like for us, we have Pratt & Whitney, we have a maintenance program. So what you do, like Fly 748 or 748 Air Services, you become proactive, get into partnership with the suppliers. Like for us, we have a maintenance program with Pratt & Whitney. So they will keep on monitoring the performance of an engine. You don't wait until it is grounded. So this proactive approach will bring stability. Okay. But like I've said, some of these aircraft components, to get a replacement takes time. Right. And what it definitely means, you'll be grounded, and you'll be losing, because some of these aircrafts are on lease. Yes. They are on lease. Yet they're grounded. Those guys will not, they will not wait for you. They will not understand what you are talking about. Yes. So it's your duty to be proactive, ensure that all your aircrafts are serviceable. And then now, even for us, you see, aviation is dollar driven. So your costs are in dollars, but then locally here, we are paying in Kenya shilling. So if it fluctuates, it will clean everything. So at the end of the day, you will be struggling to meet your operational costs.
What about the human resource component? I'm asking this in terms of the skills that probably our pilots have here in Kenya. Are you forced to get pilots from elsewhere, or are we able to service the number of airlines with a proper human resource training?
What I can see with the demand that is coming up, there's a bit of challenge. And just the other day, I had seen there was a workshop convened by KCA. The airlines and the stakeholders were asking if, yes, the airworthiness certificate for the aircraft, the inspectors are overstretched at KCA. So are we able to move the inspection from 1 year to 2 years? It does not mean that everything will stop. There's this surveillance and all that. So because the personnel are overstretched, the KCA inspectors. And this one boils down even to the engineers. Yes, because you don't just bring every engineer. These engineers are type rated. You are an engineer certified on aircraft A, but you cannot clear this. You cannot clear aircraft B and all that. And it also takes time for them to be certified and be allowed to fly or to manage a company flight, test flight and all that, or release an aircraft from the maintenance. So what does it mean? It means that the demand for personnel has increased, but even the training institutions in Kenya, like East Africa School of Aviation, is doing good work. I've seen they're training most of the personnel from the region in Eastern African countries. But locally, we still need to train, add capacity. But then, you see, you want for KCA, the head of the Director General, for him, he can recruit. But then if the budget does not allow him, then that will still be
What about the issue of pilots and cabin crew? Are we able to churn enough to supply airlines like Fly 748 from the Kenyan perspective? Or do we still have to go fishing for people from outside Kenya?
No, we have enough training schools in Kenya. And they are doing very well, 99, the flying school and all that. And the challenge is only that, you see, you must accumulate some hours for you to be allowed. Like for 748 air services. This is our modus operandi is different from the other airlines, because for us, we have a working relationship, a contract with other UN, other bigger bodies. So the specifications or the profile of the people they want to be at the cockpit, they target several thousands of hours. So if you don't have an opportunity to accumulate this number of hours, it will be a challenge for you. So what we are saying is these are commercial flights as well. So you don't have that time to train, and there are business hours that you have to really convert. You are purely there for revenue, and the pace is very high. So
bottom line matters.
So we want to strike a balance of bringing in the new pilots, starting off as the first officers, but then the demand, they don't have the hours. Like for 748, if you don't have a given number of hours, then it can be a challenge. But now, with the commercial flights or the domestic operations that we currently have, I think it's also important, and I've seen our management is supporting the young pilots. The cabin crew, yes, they are also there, and airlines, what I've seen, they are being given an opportunity to gain entry at internship level, and then you move upwards. And I've seen many people, I get their stories, they started off as an intern in any department. So that one, you have that funnel of enabling the graduates from colleges, universities, like someone who is an aeronautical engineer from technical university. He has a degree, but still he has to be taken through real maintenance. Because when you come to the industry now, yes, you are an engineer, but there are also graduates from East Africa School of Aviation, the aircraft maintenance engineers. So you'll be taken through this, and then at the end of the day, you build, so you can either choose to go to the management level or still remain as a maintenance engineer at the workshop level or at the hang.
As you give us a future outlook, as you make your final comment,
yes.
Tell us how many flights you operate in Kenya and to which directions, which destinations. You've talked about the coast area.
Yes.
Is that where you only operate, or there are other areas? Even as you give us a future outlook of the entire aviation industry.
Yes. Thanks so much. So I'll use 748 and fly 748 interchangeably. So for us, we have been in operation for 31 years, and we operate in over 11 countries in Africa. But these are entirely humanitarian aviation. So for the domestic routes, we relaunched domestic flights on 1st of May. We have been here before, but you see, during the COVID period, there was a bit of restriction in air travel. So 2 aircrafts were on the ground, they were idle, and the way I've explained to you, to have an aircraft on the ground is very expensive to an airline. So we made a strategic decision to launch the domestic routes. But post-COVID, the demand for air travel increased, and we made a painful decision to exit. I remember our MD in the media statement, he said that we'll plan and come back. Now we relaunched on 1st of May. We have started with the 2 coastal destinations, Nairobi, Mombasa, and Nairobi, Ukunda. But it does not mean that we will leave out the other destinations. So for a start, we want to consolidate, because 748, we have our promise. We want to bring stability in the scheduling. So our travelers can always plan with us that you plan to depart at 6:30. For us, we have 2 flights to Mombasa daily, Monday to Sunday, and 1 flight to Ukunda. So in a day, we have 6 flights. But what we are saying, as we assess the demand, either we'll increase the frequency, Nairobi to Mombasa and Ukunda, or open other destinations, because we are ready for the long haul. This time around, we are not suspending the domestic operation. I remember our chairman, in his speech during the launch, this is what he said. He said that based on the history, we are doing this as part of an expansion program for 748 Air Services. So fly748.com is here for the long haul. And the reception has been good, because for us, we have several differentiators. 31 years of experience. We have our own fleet of 17 aircraft. And then the experience that we have had in the humanitarian aviation, this is the same procedure, same operations that we are bringing in. So scheduling, there's a second, you see, we have dedicated 1 aircraft for these destinations. And the best thing, the wonderful thing that we have also done is to have an aircraft fully branded on standby. In case there's any disruption, you see, technical issues can always come up. In aviation, you have to plan for, you must have a plan A, B, and C. Even in an aircraft, it is programmed in such that if this one component fails, you have an alternative. So for us, we bring stability in the scheduling by having a second aircraft on standby. It is fueled, it is at JKA. In case there's any technical issue, then we just activate it.
Asante sana. George Odwor, Head of Scheduled Services at Fly 748, talking to us about the aviation industry and what they're doing at 748. Our talk was about turbulence ahead, what's grounding Kenya's aviation industry, but according to what he says, it's looking good. Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
We just about take a short break. Remember that being a Wednesday, relationship discussions are key, and that's exactly what Anodida and her panel will be getting into after this break. Good morning.